Welcome everyone to another Conversations in the Void. I'm your host Graveyard, joined as always with my off-screen producer Salem. Make sure to say hi to Salem in chat. He loves to hear from each and every one of you. Now, tonight, once again, I guess it's Sunday. We're still here doing our month-long extra shows for this show and the Mostly Pilot Night Mostly. But I'm excited to bring our guest in tonight. He is actor, writer, and fellow horror podcaster with the Coming Soon podcast, Amityville Ripper, and the Big Three. Please welcome to the Void the one and only Mario Garay.
Yes, sir. How you doing, sir?
Good. How about you?
Man, it is Sunday, like you said. Getting ready mentally, physically for a long work week, man. But I'm ready.
Yeah. I'm sure, as you know, that I'm sure October's just extra busy for you too, especially with your horror podcast.
Yes, bro. Non-stop, man. I mean, no complaints. I've been I keep busy during the year. I mean, I tell people, here in San Antonio, man, we've got enough promoters like doing shows about every weekend. I mean, sometimes all three of them or four of them are doing shows, so there's always something to do, man. It's great.
Yeah. If Chicago's close to me, if Chicago wasn't a pain to get to, there's a theater that invited me to another premiere for haunt season tomorrow night. And I'm just like, I'm already doing another show tomorrow night. And I'm just like, I can't just get up there because it's a short distance for us, but it's like an hour and a half just to get into the city.
Yeah. So 3 hours both ways, man. That's a long time.
Yes. And convincing my co-host to join me too for all these ventures. But let's get to know you a little bit, Mario. So what really brought you into the world of horror, liking horror? Do you remember like your first movie? You go, holy shit, this is amazing.
Man, honestly, growing up, here in San Antonio, man. I am Mexican American. Of course, I'm bilingual. I speak Spanish. Read and write.
Mm-hmm.
But growing up, my mom watching the Spanish station, bro. Honestly, like Galavisión, Univision. And I tell people, like growing up, and it's still the same way now. Like in Mexico or outside the U.S., like there's no censorship, bro. Like they used to show like some graphic stuff, man. And just watching the news alone, like I'm like, man, this is real. Like bombs. You name it, man. It's just crazy. But as far as horror, it started like with the luchadores, like the Mil Máscaras versus, the Frankenstein. That was pretty much it up until we didn't have cable till later on in the 80s, but black and white, Alfred Hitchcock, all that great stuff. But Abbott and Costello, man. I think that's kind of where my love for horror comedy started, because I used to love laughing at everything, and it's been ongoing. I still do that, man. I gotta laugh at stuff, man. Like if not, I'll get more gray hair, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I love meeting people like you that love the classic Universal movies, because I grew up on those too, and I think they're just absolutely amazing. Yeah. What always seems to happen, though, is horror eventually gets so long in the tooth, it becomes comical towards the end of it. Every franchise.
Yeah, you see, and it's one of those things where, like haunted houses, man. You mentioned one earlier. I've been to a few, man, and I don't scare easily. Not because I'm not afraid of anything but it's just like I see stuff and I'm like, oh, dude, that's cool. Like I'm more excited about seeing it than I am, trying to run away from it. But I haven't been to one this year yet. Like yourself, I keep getting invited, and it's just hit or miss. One's in Austin, once here locally, it's an outdoor. But that day they had it, I had like 3 events going on, and it was just timing, bro. Not enough time.
Yeah. The big one by my house this is the last year of it, and what sucks is they said they're tearing down the building, and that building. If you ever read any of the Haunted State books, like Haunted Indiana, that building's in the book as a paranormal hotspot because people supposedly died while building it and all that stuff. And I've been there a few times, but I'm kicking off a show that I want to pitch and investigate stuff like that. We talked about it before. I'm just like, if only I can get to that building before it gets torn down.
Bro, there's a couple of here that. Our old Lone Star Beer building is still up. It's only walls now, but I drive by there like throughout the week, and it's just like an old warehouse, like beat up. You still see the sign, and I want to go in there. It's under construction, so I'm pretty sure they don't allow anybody to just walk in there, but I would love to go just to check it out, man. Get photos, get some images. I mean, it's just like everything about it is just so cryptic. But
Right.
you know, I was gonna say this, bro. Now I forgot because a couple of weeks back, we have a thing called Fresh Friday, and I'm pretty sure it's everywhere. You know, the first event of the month.
Hmm.
The Haunted Dollhouse. It's here on Hildebrand Road, and it's supposedly. I mean, people hear things, see things. You know, it's got this creepy upstairs attic thing, man. That you know, for one thing, I'm walking up there and it's like narrow, and I'm like already suffocating, right? I'm that guy trying to walk up this thing, but yeah, you know, the oxygen level changed on you, and I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I'm in there, and everything's like low ceiling. They got dolls everywhere, which makes it even more creepy. You know, but I was out there a few weeks back, and you know, the whole street was popping, dude. It was just like, I mean, everybody was out enjoying it, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know it's cool, and I do have ghost hunting equipment on the other side of this wall here,
Oh man, let's go.
just
Let's go.
just for fun. And I know you know the new Ghostbusters 2 in the box HasLab stuff that's coming out.
Yeah.
The PKA meter is a functioning EMF detector.
Oh man. Oh, okay.
And I
Cool.
just thought that was hysterical just to do that.
No, well, let me ask you this: have you ever experienced anything? I'll be the interviewer, real quick. But as far as paranormal, man,
I growing up, I always heard footsteps in the upstairs of my parents' house when there was no one there,
yeah.
and I always heard the Ghostbusters cartoon theme song playing from the TV up there, and there was no one up there.
Dude. Okay, yeah, yeah. You see,
They,
I'm down the street. I'm like maybe like 10, 12 blocks away from this house we used to live at when I was going to middle school. After we sold our home, we moved there for like not even a year, man. But upstairs, you know, house. I mean, same thing. You know, I'd be downstairs sitting down. The door's right here. I'm looking up because I'm hearing people talking. You look up, there's a big old window, and you see like images of people walking across the road. Same thing, footsteps. You know,
yeah,
a couple times like going home late, like you see silhouettes of this lady standing there at the window, man, like playing as view. I mean, daylight, bro. It was just crazy. But it wasn't until years later, you know, I told my mom one day, I was like, hey, I went by the house we lived at, you know, and she was all like, oh, the haunted one. And I look at her like, what do you mean? And she's like, yeah, well, that's why we moved. Cause that lady, like I wake up and that lady's standing there looking at me, and I was like, holy, I was like, okay. I mean, there's a reason why she didn't tell us that when we moved, but yeah, you know, I'm just glad I wasn't the only one because I thought it was just
yeah,
me out there and stuff.
yeah. But I feel like my fear of stuff like that and kind of dissipated when I got old enough to start torturing my older sisters
Oh, yeah.
and be the one hiding in the closet, making things move. I was able to, you know, between the door to the upstairs and the first step, I was such a small kid. I was able to fit between it, and there was always a shadow on it, so they could never see me there. So
Oh,
the
man.
door would open and close, they'd never see anyone there. So I just tortured the shit out of them.
And they know that now, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I was gonna say if they don't, they do now. So they're watching this probably.
but
Man.
Mario, let's. I have this always the interesting question.
Yeah.
What is the most overrated horror IP or franchise in your opinion? Do you just go, why is this making $2 billion?
Man, I mean, as of right now, I mean, today for me, I would say, you know, Terrifier, man. I mean, you know, I mean, there's others, but I don't think they've made that much money. You know, there's some like Sharknado that keeps getting dragged out, and that's just like stupid funny. But I like it. That's a thing. I do enjoy it. But you know, and then and not to say bad or good, man, because it's like if they're getting theirs, and by all means, you know, make it. You know, get that money, man, because you know who knows? Maybe after this, that's it. You know, we never know. But yeah, man, it's just I don't get it. I mean, there's things that I've seen this weekend. You know, I was on an event Saturday where actresses from the movie Demons, you know, that
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I mean, those movies back then were like, dude, like if people were fans of Terrifier, like go watch Demons 1 and 2. Like it's more non-believable because you see the fake masks, you see the fake, but it's just the gore and the fact that the extent that they went to scare the hell out of people, man. Like it's just that good, you know. It's just, I mean, the hard scare tactics are there. It's just, but yeah, man. But other than that, I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm not like a fan. I mean, I think I told you, man. I had a buddy of mine give me these yesterday as well, or Friday.
Yeah.
So I didn't buy them, but it's just, I mean, as far as that, yeah, it's just not, it's not for me. I will say this: I have a hashtag that I use when I do interview review movies, and it's called hashtag Not My Horror.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that a lot just because a lot of times it isn't. I watch something and it's great. I love the plot, the storyline, the actors, but it's just not for me.
Right.
And just like I tell people, just like my podcast, it's not for everybody. I don't expect everybody to be like, man, this is great, but it's like if as long as they comment, good or bad, I'm good. I'm doing my job.
Oh yeah, yeah. Our mine and Salem's go-to answer for that is the Conjuring universe.
Yeah. You see that's what I was saying. As far as now, yes, but The Conjuring. I mean, there's a few. I mean, there's not. It's just out there getting dragged out. I mean, some of the stuff that I've been seeing as of late, the past 3 years, 4 years, is just ongoing, and I'm like, man, like they're dragging the heck out of this. A lot of the best parts are in the trailer. You know what I mean? It's just those movies that it's like, okay, well, the trailer was the best part. Everybody's keep
Right.
saying that, and a lot of them, unfortunately, that's it. But on that note, I mean, that's why I love indie horror, man. I mean, that's why I watch it religiously. I watch shows. Some are good, some aren't. I mean, well, I don't want to say some aren't, but some aren't for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the same thing. It's just I'm just
Yeah.
glad people are making them. I'm glad it's still going. They want to cast me even better. Let's go.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't like to support the idea of giving Ed, Lorraine Warren, who were really shitty people that made the Satanic Panic a thing in this country, any more money to their state.
Yes, man, and it's just one of those things, bro. But yeah, but other than that, like I said, man, I come home and I'm on YouTube, I'm on Shutter, I'm on Tubi, I'm on something, and it's
Right.
like we're never gonna catch up, man. So many films, but I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm okay with that.
So on the flip side, what is a movie that you ask someone that they've seen, and you just go, wait, you're watching this right now? What is the most underrated horror in your opinion?
Yeah. Okay. I brought up one the other day. God, somebody, I can't believe I can't forget. I can't remember, but there was one, and I was thinking, I was like, dude, like nobody's watched that. Well, I mean, recently, I'll go back to it because I can't remember the name, but a lot of them for me, I mean, are like for example, I bring up Shopping Mall, and
Mm-hmm.
even though it was so 80s and it was so low budget and it was so corny, like people haven't seen it, and I'm like, bro, like that's just one of those movies that got swept under. Demons, same thing,
Yep.
because it's like I think I was talking to Coralina, and she was like, well, it only aired in the US for like a week, and I was like, wow. I said, because for me, when I saw it, it was through like a video store, and I just saw it, and I'm like, okay, Demons, let me check it out, and I was like, crap, scared that bothered the hell out of me. It was just one of those Italian horror movies that did it, but yeah, man, I mean, but there's a few out there that I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
I can't believe this didn't get any play.
Yeah. I have Demons 1 and 2 on Laserdisc. So
Nice, bro, nice.
yeah, and we went over those movies too when we did this director spotlight for them, and
Oh,
we
sweet.
watched and reviewed Demons 1 and 2, and I think they're great. Choppy Mall. What if RoboCop, but
Yes,
but security mall cops?
yeah, the mall cop, right? I mean, they had to when I saw that whole mall cop, I was like, dude, shopping mall, bro, what's up? but yeah, man, I love that stuff though.
Yeah, and let's get into kind of what you do here. You talk about indie horror, and I know you've done some indie horror movies. So why do you think, in all the movies that exist today in the big studios, that it seems like indie horror has the most original ideas?
Well, for one thing, there's no restrictions. When you go to the big, productions, I mean, there's people putting money behind it. So there's movies that they don't want to put money in. I think, I mean, for example, back to Terrifier, when they came out, they were like, oh, we got this big budget, and they pulled out the last minute because of the vulgar and the scenes or whatever. I haven't seen it, but it's just as far as like the parts that they didn't like. And so they pulled, but I love the fact that they have that freedom to go over and do a little extra. I'm not big when it comes to like I'll say this: if I watch a horror movie and there's blood and there's people getting chopped off and all this crazy stuff, my question is this: if you take all that stuff out, is the movie still good?
Right.
Because that's the way I think. Like if I watch a movie and I'm like, okay, there was a lot of blood, there was a lot of chasing and everything, but I'm like, okay, if I take all that off, then where's the movie at? Like, there's nothing. And so that's kind of how I go about when I watch these films. It's just like, okay, well, let me see what they bring to the table, because God, I can't remember. I had an interview a couple months back, and they were like, man, half the films now are like 30%, 40% of it is them getting chased. The rest is like character build up if they have any, and the plot's not there, and it's just. But yeah, there's got to be something. I mean, I don't review horror movies. I review horror movie trailers because that's how long my attention span is. But at the same time, it's more. I'm not educated enough to be like, oh man, okay, the production or you know what I mean. Like it's just I don't have that in me. But when it comes to a trailer, I'm like, okay, this is what I liked about it. And it's a segment I call 120-second movie trailer review. So everything's under 2 minutes, bro. So it's just like boom, in and out, But yeah, man. I mean, that's what I do, man.
Yeah. When we review and Salem and I review movies, we generally talk about, we forgive a lot for the special effects if the story and the character development is good.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a budget to have that.
No, not at all.
It's just the story. So we do. Sorry, M. Night Shyamalan, we shit on you a lot because you have this money and you have people in there, but your story's lacking.
Yeah, and I want I'm asking myself the same question, man, because a lot of it I'm thinking I wonder if a lot of these movies are just like write-offs. Like they're like, oh, let's just put a name on it, Amityville and whatever, and let's go. And they don't care because the money's already been made, been paid, and they make their millions, and movie goes to shit, and that's it. But if they were to go that route and put money behind some of these hard indie films, man, like there's a lot of them that are everybody was making a thing about Terrifier, like, oh, it's an indie film, and I'm like, cool, dude, like I'm great, I'm glad this doing what it's doing. But there's like hundreds of other films out there that I'm like, damn, like this movie should have been on the big screen. There's some that I've seen that I'm like, okay, this would have been a great stay-at-home movie, and not to downgrade it or not to, but it's just like it gives me that feel where I'm like, dude, I would have been happy with putting the VHS on and watching that at home. It's just gives me that little. But yeah, man. I mean, today, as a matter of fact, I was supposed to go to the Rainbow Theater in Castroville to go watch Silver Bullet on the big screen, but the time frame was like. Same thing. Castroville's like 45 minutes away from me, and I'm like, damn, I won't make it. I wanted to so bad, but yeah, I'll catch it again. We'll see.
Yeah, and you have, like I said, we don't generally review too indie of like micro budget movies. When we do that, we do major releases. Right. But let's face it, first Friday the 13th was indie. Halloween was indie. A lot of these started in the indie world.
Yeah,
and they're able to grow.
And that's the thing, because even like when it comes to Michael Myers, when it comes to all these the slashers, like they were the people holding the lights, they were the people with the boomstick, they were the because they were like, we don't have any money, like, hey, put a mask on, start running, let's go. And for me, I love that stuff because it's like it's just like if I were to say, if I had a group of friends, say if I had like at least four people with me. Like that would be enough for me to be like, okay, man, like, let's do short films.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be the sound guy today. You're gonna be the victim today. Boom. The next one, okay, you're the victim, and we'll swap it out, dude. Like everybody gets a turn. Everybody gets to use their creative juices, Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, it's just tough because I think the ongoing thing with indie films, not so much that it's a joke, but it's just funny because it's like timing, because everybody works, everybody does other stuff where. It's like, hey, I have this Saturday off. Oh, I can't do it this Saturday. How about next Saturday? And it's just,
yeah,
it's ongoing, man. And it's just, I think for the most part, that's why I always wonder, like, if indie filmmakers were not wanting to give people opportunities just in general. I mean, I've been fortunate to work with quite a few here locally, man, and I'm blessed, and I thank them because it's like you almost have to prove yourself before they, because if they ask you once, like, hey, can you make it? Oh, I can't. They ask you again, can you make it? No. And then after that, they stop asking because they're like, well, let's get somebody that can, not because, it's just not working out. And I get it. I get that because it's like, dude, I mean, if I was the same way and I needed you on certain days, you can't make it, then damn, I got to go with somebody that can, and I try to be, man. I've been helping a lot of locals, and, when it comes to production companies, I mean, we've got, the guys from Waco that were here Saturday, man, they were actually posted up, and their film Killer Cocks, you know, I'll plug him in, you know. But a mutated chicken, meteor hits, boom, you know, it's like it's crazy wild, and I'm grateful to be a part of that, man. Just seeing behind the scenes, bro, was enough, but
yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to the wearing the many hats with the horror dads I'm part of, just because they're like, hey, you're gonna be here, cool. What do you want me to do? BAD, make sure we're going over the script, start setting stuff up. All right, now you're gonna get killed. All right, cool. And then I think I told you before, our main guy who was the killer couldn't make it down.
Yeah,
I wore the mask. I did it. It was just it's a small knit crew, and that's what I really like about Indy. And you always hear those stories about how everyone in Halloween did multiple things. You talk to John Dugan. He's like, yeah, I was the guy laying on the ground poking the chicken in the cage because it wasn't making noise.
Yeah. You see, but I mean, and that's where it starts, man, and that's why I love it, because it's like if I'm here in this room and I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna get 5 items, random items, and I'm gonna make a movie out of it using those 5 items. Like, if my imagination's that good, like I'm like, dude, I'm gold. I could be making like so many movies just from one room alone, just using different wall angles, different lighting, different backdrops. I mean, once again, it's I've tried doing stuff on my own, man. It's awkward as hell. And it's just like, yeah, I need a body. I need somebody locally that can, like, dude, like, go with me, zinc, just kind of relate and go, But I'm gonna keep trying, man. We'll see what happens.
I mean, you can always just put the camera on the ground, point it at a wall, and run it for 75 minutes and call it Skin 'em Rink.
Done. let me patent that real quick. Hold on. No, but yeah.
AKA walls and doors of the movie.
The wall. There you go. Nice. I like it. But yeah, man. But we'll see, man. I'm gonna keep poking at it and see what comes out of it. I'll keep having fun.
Oh yeah. And like you, a lot of some of my indie horror stuff is I'm also the podcaster, right?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, what? And then when they first offered that, or when that first came up, I was like, man, if I can't nail this, I'm screwed. What else can I do? So I just, it was fun. I mean, that was a little nice little plug. I've done 3 of them, and it's just like, okay, like let me see what comes out of this. I've been a radio evangelist. I've used my voice on a few perks, man. I've got, and it came up to I'm on 2 films under trauma, and so I'm like, oh man, like I didn't think about that, and I was like, okay, like I'll take it, it's just, I mean, it's just movie credit, IMDB. I mean, that's not all it takes, but it's like, okay, like at least I know I'm doing things, I'm getting things done, and when it comes to more local stuff or stuff that I can actually go to and be there in person, then I'll take that as well.
Yeah, it was vastly different doing something outside of horror dads. This past summer, I went to another guy's movie, and I was just kind of a background detective. But I was there, and we were shooting 3 scenes, right? Just 3 scenes, and that was probably 6 hours. And I'm so used to the bang, 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 one take. Let's do 2 for safety. Move on, guerrilla war, shooting of indie horror.
Bro, you see, and that's another thing too, man. Like I'm in 2 casting agencies, man, and I passed up on 2 Netflix series, man, and it was because of timing. Like they were like, hey, we need you Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm like, crap, and and my work is cool, man, and I'm grateful because they're like, yeah, like when I told them, and I was like, man, this is what happened, and they were like, dude, why didn't you say anything? And I'm like, well, my boss was off that week, and we had like so many meetings, and I was just like, man, there's no way, but they gave me the go, man. They were like, next time, just let us know and go. So I'm like, okay, let's do it, man. So I'm waiting, as soon as I get another call or another email, I'm on it.
Yeah. I think for me too, working with this team, like I said, I'm writing my own stuff. I'm working on some shorts. My co-host and I were working on some feature films as well. And as you know, doing shows like this, you have that network of people that, they say, everyone says like, yeah, we'll help you out. We'll help you out. We'll help you out. And until you get there, it's fantastic. But, I had Dan Bowers on, who did the special effects for Smile.
Nice, bro.
And he goes, hey, by the way, I also want to come back on the show. We'll talk Phantasm. I go, okay, cool. And he goes, by the way, when your short's ready, I'll do the VFX for you.
Dude, wow. Nice.
And
That's
I'm just going, okay, that's pretty cool, just to have a connection like that. Yeah.
Dude, but I mean, yeah, and it's unbelievable. It's amazing because it's like, you'd be amazed, like if you were to just ask somebody, and I'm pretty sure like in conversation, they can kind of tell the BS from the, like somebody's BSing and somebody's like on it. Like, I'm pretty sure they can be like, dude, like I'm going to do it. Like, yeah, like if you ask, like I'm sure just about anybody, as long as they have time, they're like, yeah, man, let's do it. I mean, no problem. But that's great, man. I mean, happy for you guys, bro.
Yeah, and it's exciting. Like I said, I've had other offers from other people to join them on set and meet like special effects people. I go, well, yeah, of course I'm going to do that. I want to network. I want to just do that. So it's been a year and a half of nonstop fun, and with the independent horror, I hope it continues to go.
And that's one of the things too, because I've been talking to guests and like just about. Dude, like a lot of them are like, man, you do it. Just do it. Just go out there and just get it done. That's the first step. And it's like, okay, yeah, it is. Because if you keep procrastinating and you're waiting and it's like 3 months, 6 months, a year, and then what? It's like, man, like, I mean, technology is right here, bro. I mean, this is for the most part, go have some fun. I've got my Nikon. I've got, a D7000. I've got a D700. I've got some nice pieces that I can just go and like I said, like I've had a few, and some of them are on my YouTube, and I have them on private because I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it's gonna stay on there, man. But it's just like I'm just feeding it, man. Like it's just with the writing. I've been writing as well, and it's just like ideas and just stuff that pops up, and I'm like, oh man, that'd be nice. So I just leave it on there and see what grows out of it,
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the Coming Soon podcast. So how did you get into podcasting as a whole?
Well, networking. I've done combat sports for over 15 years, close to 20 years, man. Like I've been doing interviews. We didn't do any podcasting with that, but we're doing video interviews, blogs, all over Texas. I was cage side for UFC, Strikeforce, Bellator, Combate America, all the regional shows just about. When podcasting, I first heard about it. I had seen it, but another local company started doing it. And because they were doing it, I was like, oh, I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do what they were doing. So I shut kind of like I left it alone, and I regret it. I mean, they went under. They didn't, come up with anything. It was a few episodes, but basically in the beginning it was audio. So I wanted the whole nostalgic radio, just people driving, listening. And when I started doing that audio, it's like after a while, people were like, man, who are you talking to? So it's like, you know what? Let me put video. So I started putting the camera on them. The whole OBS and the whole, dude, like it was a nightmare. It's like, I tried it. I couldn't master it. It was just, I had an old setup that my buddy gave me. And so I'm grateful, but it was just too much. And, after a while, people were like, well, we see the guy interviewed, but how come we can't see you? And I'm like, dude, because I don't want to be on camera, bro. But it was just during that time that I was like, man, I want to start getting in film. Like, I want to start doing this. So it kind of made sense. I said, you know what? I'm going to get on there, and I don't shy away from it. Like I'm real shy when it comes to being out in public or, being out there. But it's like when it comes to TV or I've been in commercials, I've been interviewed on TV. And I'm cool with it. I don't go on, I've done well under pressure. Like I've been at fights where the promoter's like, hey man, we have UFC fighter so-and-so. Like, can you interview him like inside the cage? And I'm like, yeah, when? And they're like, right now. I'm like, okay, like let's go, and I jump on it, man. And it's just, for the most part, I know just about everybody, and I know what they've done and where they're going. So just ask the questions and make it comfortable. And so it's good, man. I like it. It's like, I've been that guy. And the same thing at conventions, like I'm there and they're like, hey man, you want to interview him right now? And I'm like, yeah, so it's just like, boom, let's go, man.
Yeah. It's funny is, I've done, we sponsored a movie marathon the past 3 years here in Chicago. First year, I didn't go up there say anything. I went up there and handed away free shit, right? My wife has a Cricut. We had the heat press. We did all that stuff, gave it away. Last year, I went up there nervous as hell, talking to a theater of people with bright lights. But I can do this show, talk to people like yourself or Larry Hanke or Jeffrey Wiseman, no issues.
Dude, like there was a, because I'm on top of me, being a building maintenance. I mean, that's my job. I'm also a contract delivery driver. I deliver furniture for
Mhm.
part time or whenever I can. But one time I was doing a delivery at a college, Incarnate Word, which is like a university. I get there and the lady's, yeah, it's an auditorium, but you got to go through the stage. So I'm like, okay, so I'm there and I'm pulling so it was like a couch. I'm going up 3 steps with a dolly. I look and the whole auditorium's full, bro. Like I'm looking and I was like, oh, and I'm looking at her and she's like, yeah, it's on the other side. I'm sorry about that. We're having a meeting, or we're having a whatever conference. And I'm like, okay. So I'm walking down and I got nervous because I was like, oh man, like, but I was cool with it. I went, dropped it off, put the feet on the sofa. I'm walking back with the dolly. The instructor's like, hey, everybody, everybody thank Mario for delivering this. And I'm like, and I was like, hey, Mario, and young generation, right? They're just being funny and like, hey, Mario, and everybody's jumping and cheering and clapping. And I was just like, oh crap. And she was like, yeah, is there anything you want to say? And I'm there like by the mic and I'm like, yeah, and so I grabbed the mic and I'm like, hey, you know what? I said, you know what? I said, he said, in life, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I left it. Mic dropped, right? And everybody was kind of like, what the world? And she was like, man, that was good, and they just came out of, I just threw it out the hat, it just came out, dude. But it happened. And I was like, when I was done, I was like, crap. I can't believe it was like one of those put in the spot situations, but it worked out.
Yeah, I feel like if I was in front of people but talking to someone next to me, it'd be a lot easier, because I notice, like, when I go up on stage and talk to people, my brain leaves my body completely. Yeah. I just I go in auto mode and it's there. I don't know what it sounds like. I don't know what it looks like. I talk to Salem, my co-host, and I go, did I do okay? Like, I don't know.
Right? Can you hear me? Do you hear everything? Oh yeah, man, and that's kind of cool that you have somebody like that, man. Because for me, I had my buddy. We had jumped on this when we first started. I mean, he started. He's a professional fighter. Started training, and so he didn't have time. I rolled with it. I was already doing a podcast for combat sports, so I said, man, I'm just gonna keep this, and juggling both. Just back and I do this one more though, but I mean, I do grab like fighters from that I've known for years. I mean, UFC fighters on their way up. And that know me, and I'm like, hey man, let's jump on and cool, just kind of do an interview and just throw some content out there for him.
Right.
But it's fun, man, for the most part. We gotta love it, dude. I mean, we did, and we wouldn't be doing it.
Oh yeah. Like I said, it's just before. I love learning the stories behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I love to do my research. I love to talk to people about themselves.
Yeah. How funny is that, right? They're like, so what do you do?
Yeah. So I mean, overall though, I mean, it seems like we're in the same spot with our creativity and stuff like that, and it's great to be able to do the internet and stuff like that, because 20 years ago we would never have met.
Yeah.
Ever. I mean.
Oh yeah, you see, and it's I think I had told you before, like I had a zine that I started again, but at mid-90s, man, like writing letters to bands, for interviews. I'd write questions, I send it to them, they send them back, going to Kinko's, cut and paste, literally, man. And, networking back then was horrendous, bro. Like, we'd have to wait weeks, months to get something back. And it's like, okay, like we got these and, boom, make them happen. But the fact that everything's on the, on our laps, literally, it's here, man. And it's just, it's one of those things where I don't have enough time in the day, but at the same time, I'm like, damn, I wish I could do like, because there's times where I do like three episodes in one day, and I'm like, damn, like it takes my whole evening, but I'm cool with it, man. And it's just, I want to do more. Like, I want to be able to do a little bit more. And, when it comes to filming, like Lion Zach Productions, one of them, man, there's a short coming up next week, and it's going to premiere. I'm on there for the most part. They use my truck. So my truck has, it's got more IMDb credit than I do. So, if anybody wants to do an appearance, I'll take my truck out there. But but it's just I'm helping behind the scenes, man. But I love it. I'm soaking it up. I'm enjoying the experience, and it's like, let me learn, man. Let me learn some of this stuff, dude.
Yeah. So Mario, before we get into wrap ups here, what has been your greatest experience, going to cons or doing a show for you?
Well, I've done two. I've been a moderator for two shows. One was for Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and the other one was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre this year. Those have been probably. I mean, everyone that I go to, I'm like, dude, I watched that film when I was a kid. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, was released in '74. I was born in '74, so I always felt some connection with that. Meeting the actors was surreal because I'm like, dude, here I am. Like, I was watching it later in the '80s or mid '80s, but I'm a kid watching these guys on TV or the movie, and here they are in front of me. Same thing with Killer Clowns from Outer Space, man. The Kyoto brothers. I was able to meet them, shake their hand, and I'm like, wow, dude, like this guy is, they're the reasons, I've got the sense of humor I have, because of these films. But those have been the great ones, man. I mean, the cast from Return of the Living Dead, the same thing, like humble as hell, dude, like laid back, kick back, just full of life, and it's just it's one of those things where you talk to them and them being so humble, they just remind you that, you got to remind yourself that they're people, man. Like we all wake up, we all got to do, what we got to do. And, they got opportunities, took them for what they were. And it's like things happen. So, I want to be that guy, man.
Yeah. I know my co-host Salem would love to talk to Chio's brothers, the creators of Killer stuff. His favorite movie of all time, Killer Clowns. So, all right, let's get some wrap up here. So, of all the movies, what's your favorite scary movie?
My go-to is Return of the Living Dead. That's my go-to, and that's I mean, I've had movies throughout the years that I'm like, oh, I love this one, I love this one. But Return of the Living Dead Part 1, dude, that's like, if I'm home and my girl's like, "You gonna watch that again?" and I'm like, man, I don't need that, like, hey, leave me alone. But yeah, man, it's just something about it, like everything, from the music, like I tell people, like I was a fan of punk rock before I knew what punk rock was because of films like that. And I went through the whole punk scene, but I just relate to it, and the whole, cemetery, the whole zombie, the whole, I mean, everything. It just makes sense, and I love it.
Yeah. All right, practical or CGI?
Not CGI. Yeah, I mean, I understand it's got to be there for some parts, but it's like I'm not a big fan of CGI, man.
Yeah,
I'd rather see, have a guy behind the suit running around. It's just, for me, it's just a little bit more special.
Yeah, 57 of these, 56 have said practical. One has said CGI.
Man, yeah. It just depends, but yeah, man, I'd rather practical.
Yeah. All right. So, Mar, if anyone came knocking on your door and said, "We want you to be in this horror franchise," what would be the perfect franchise for you to be in?
I would say Terrifier, man, so I can get rid of art. No, I'm just joking. No, but man, that's a good one. I mean, for me, if they were to bring back, I mean, I know they're talked about doing another Return of the Living Dead film. Yeah, it's like a fan film or whatnot. But I would love to be, same thing, dude. I would love to be in a Return of the Living Dead freaking film, bro.
Yes. As a person killed by a zombie or a zombie?
Zombie. I wanna be undead. I wanna live forever, man.
All right, so Mar, any advice for anyone getting into the world of podcasting?
Man, I would say, I mean, reach out to people. I mean, people reach out to me, and I don't know everything, but I always tell people I'll show you everything I know, and then after that, it's like, because I'm still learning. But definitely. I mean, be able to have a conversation. Don't. I've seen podcasts where they're kind of forced, and I'm like, it kind of irks me because I'm like, man, like if they're not having fun with it, why not do it? So definitely, have a sense of humor about it. Go, have a conversation with people, man. You'll be good.
Yeah, that's why our show is called Conversations of the Void, just because I have a list of questions over here. If I get to them, fantastic. If I don't, it's all good. I just roll with it.
There you go, man.
Except for the hard questions. All right, now, Mario, as anyone who's been on the show, they get a random horror trivia question from the horror trivia deck. Are you ready for your horror trivia question?
Let's do it.
All right. Michael Fassbender stars in this 2008 movie about a romantic lakeside getaway that goes horrifically wrong.
That is Creek. I forgot the name of it. Damn. Okay, I saw it the other day too. Damn, I don't know. Sorry.
You want to know?
Yes.
Eden Lake.
Damn. Okay. Okay. I don't know why I thought Creek, but I was like, I know. Yes. Okay. There you go.
I mean, Wolf Creek's kind of in the same vein.
Well, you see, that's the first one that popped in my head, but that's why I said Creek because I was like, it's right there. But I did see it like 2 weeks ago, man. So yes.
Yeah, that movie, the first time I saw it, I go, holy shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That was I went back and watched it, man, because I was like, okay, I gotta watch this. I think I was too busy trying to see what came up, but that was a good film though.
Yeah. All right, Mario. So where can people find you and follow you? What are your socials?
Everything is under Coming Soon Podcast. The website, www.comingsoonpodcast.com. All my plugs are on there, but like everybody else, I'm all over the place, man. When TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, MySpace, not MySpace, but I could be on. No, but yeah.
Could be. Awesome. Thank you, Mario, so much for coming on. As always, on Skyline Graveyard. And if you like our shirt, the mostly sPidA, not mostly, we have new horror parody shirts coming out for sale soon, hopefully. And we're having a blast. So follow us on all social media, Pod Out at Night, and we'll see you next time. And don't get lost in the void. Good night.